What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, everybody? Y'all come on in the room. Come on in the room. What's going on, family? This is your favorite plug. RD, my family plug anyway with the information that you need in order to help you be a little bit more successful. I'm trying to get my lights right, y'all. This is an ongoing job. If you have never done podcasting before, what this means is, especially when you're your own production, you're your own engineer, your own sound guy, and you got to come up with these hot topics to keep you guys engaged. Let's get right off into this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to keep you long. But today I want to talk to you guys about, and again, we're just having conversations. I'm going to pull a Shannon Sharp. We're just having conversations about the things that you can do when your business starts to stall, plateau, or the attention, the customers are not coming in as often and as fast. Thank you for joining the show. And we want to give you some helpful insight or advice on some things that you can do in your business so you won't hit the panic button. It is very easy as a young entrepreneur, as a young business owner, man, to hit that panic button. And what happens is we revert and go back to our comfort zone. And in that comfort zone is safety. But at the same time, your business totally stops. It doesn't just stall, it stops. And when it stops, anything that is at a complete stop, there is no motion. And if there's no motion, then you have absolutely nothing coming in. And it happens to every last one of us. Any of us who are business owners and who have been doing business for any number of time. I spoke on this in another podcast or another episode to where I was telling you guys there is a roller coaster in business where your business will go up and down. A lot of times around holidays, depending on what business you have, if it's a product business or a service business. Now, there is a thing that's called an evergreen business, which means these are products or services that are moving all year, regardless of the climate, regardless of the area, the people, universal products, things and stuff like pots and pans. Every household in the world needs pots and pans. That's an evergreen business. Knives, spoons, plates, cups. These are evergreen products. Laundry soap, dish soap. People are going to buy this stuff all year long, regardless of what's going on in the world. They're going to be buying these things. So if you're fortunate enough to have those type of businesses where it's a product or service business to where you have products all year long, then even still, there is a slump. Because when you think about it, laundry soap, you wash clothes every week or at least twice a week. But when you buy that big tote of laundry soap, you're not shopping again until you run out. Now, you do have your couponers out there, but they're buying that little bitty stuff, and they'll buy 6 or 7 of them at a time. But still, you won't see them people again until they run out. So this is what we're talking about into the world of business, to where you don't want to panic. And you don't, oh my God, nobody's coming in, nobody's buying, nobody's talking about the product, nobody's watching my content, even if you're moving stuff online. Nobody's watching my stuff on content, watching my content on social media. Nobody's liking, sharing, or engaging. Do not panic. 6 P's, ladies and gentlemen, 6 P's are the most important thing. And for those of you who don't know about the 6 P's, let me tell you what the 6 P's are. P as in Peter. The 6 P's are proper planning prevents, excuse the language, piss poor performance. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. The time when your business slacks off or stalls, it doesn't have that steamrolling momentum as it once had. The one thing you want to do is always plan for a rainy day. Always plan for the rainy days. Sometimes they're rainy months. There are a lot of business owners, man, they will lose money for months at a time. And when I say lose money, I don't mean they still are making money, but it's not that that fire that they once had. So in some cases, people are like, man, I don't know what to do. I mean, sometimes you're just barely breaking even. Other times you are not even breaking even. You're taking a loss. But with proper planning, it will prevent these times when it's a slump or slow or down. Now, one way that we do this, ladies and gentlemen, in the business world, don't upgrade for at least the first 18 to 24 months. This is planning. Planning. You guys have heard me mention this before. Even the SBA, the Small Business Administration, gives you 3 years to claim a loss in your new business. Because 78% of the businesses fail in the first 1 to 2 years. 78% of all new businesses fail. Now, that's not to say that it just failed. It just didn't bring that money. So a lot of those businesses, they just take the early out and opt out to get out quick. Because if the business, most people who have this idea about being their own boss and being entrepreneurs, they have this number in mind, that what I like to call a fictitious fantasy number. People who start businesses should never go into that business. Now, there's one thing to have a goal to reach. This is your goal to reach. But you also need to be realist with yourself. And you need to plan for if you don't hit that goal. Now, day one, you're not going to generate $100,000 day one. You're not going to generate $500,000 or $1 million in year one. You have to plan. Now, even before you start your business, you should have done all of the research on that business first. Just because everybody, just say like, I'm going to use this as an example. You have a clothing store. And just because everybody likes your style, you have to be the realist. This is the realist part. Only your friends and people that you know like your style. But somebody in Arkansas, they're not feeling it. Now, the science tells us that the average person only has 7 friends. 7 friends. I don't know where they came up with that number. They probably based on some college study. Now, you may know a lot of people. I mean, I know hundreds of people, but only 7 do I consistently conversate and talk to that's in my phone. Only about 7 people. And even still, that's not every day. That is periodically, but I can call them when we have a good conversation, have a good time, and then we go right back to our everyday lives. Now, here's the tricky part about that science. Out of those 7, it's only 3 that are your go-to people. Now, in the science of numerology, in the study of numerology, 3s, 7s, 9s, number 1, 1, 3, 7, and 9 are always significant, relevant numbers. Why is that? I have no idea. But we can take the most common number with the 3. Well, regardless of whatever religion or faith that you practice, we all believe that there's only one God. Then we get to the Trinity God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Then we get to the number 7. 7 cannot be divided. It's the only perfect number. Think about that. 7 is the only perfect number. God created the world in 7 days, blah, 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 blah. 9, that number is so significant. You just have to do a study on numerology, and it will give you that number, give you those. But at any rate, the point that I was getting to you guys, or taking you to, is out of those 7 friends that we have in our phone that we call and talk to on a regular basis, or often, only 3 of those 7 are the ones that we can go to, that we can really depend on. And the study even further revealed that out of those 3, possibly 1 to all 3 are family. In some situations, in some cases. You know, so people, we can always go to mom and daddy and maybe another sibling. Or we can count on mom, dad, and a best friend. Somebody that we tell all of our secrets to. Somebody that knows where the bodies are buried, so to speak, for the sake of lack of a better term. But this is why this is so important, is because out of those, when you look at that, when you're talking about a business, you have to have a business that's going to quantify those numbers. So when you start out a business and then your business hits that slump or that slack period or that slow period, oftentimes that's around, a lot of holidays or people are off work. Now, from January to April, business is going to be booming for a lot of you that's out there, because it's income tax season. And then it's going to drop like a hot potato right after that. It's going to drop right after that. And the simpler reason because behind that is, and that's when a lot of people panic. But when you prepare for that, you already know what your business is going to be looking at and what you're going to be facing at. So again, proper planning. So when you're starting that business out, just because, and I was talking about the clothing person who's a fashionista in their little local area, town, community, city, whatever the case may be, a lot of people who are saying that they like your outfits, you really have to do some research and go and be around other people that's not your common circle and see what those circles say. Go out of town. Go to the next county over or the next city over. Go to the next state over and see if you have that same fire response about your outfits, especially if you are a clothing designer and you're making your own clothes. Get in a couple of fashion shows in the next city over. I know Atlanta always have fashion shows. Always. You can always go to the city of Atlanta and drop it, boom, and just see how you place amongst the professionals. Now, if you have something like a little small boutique or something like that, and you're going to feature some clothing that you like. Now, also, let me give you the other side, just because there's another study that says for every one of you, there's at least 10,000 of you nationally. So there's only 10,000 other people that think like you, like your style, like your way that you put stuff together. Now, in a perfect world, if we had access to those 10,000, this is why online marketing is so wonderful, because you're opening up your customer base outside of your city limits. So finding those 10,000 is your business's first challenge. So when your business is slumping in your area, your first go-to, online. See, under the old paradigm of having a business, we were taught to, you will start a business, get a building, and then set up shop. It. You hope that people in your city or in your area will come and patronize you, especially in the Black community. We want Black support, which there's nothing wrong with that. But again, when we look at reality, Black spending power is not going to sustain our everyday livelihood if we are wanting to be successful business owners. You have to open up the market. I tell a lot of people a lot of times, I don't even classify my business as Black owned. It's obvious. You see what I'm saying? So I don't put that out there because I want green dollars or plastic dollars, however you want to pay. I even take cryptocurrency. But I don't box myself in. That's the same as under the old paradigm of having a business just within your area where you reside, because you've already put a ceiling on top of that. So what happens is when the money in our local area starts to plateau off and stall and it doesn't have that momentum, we panic. We panic first because we didn't prepare for the X factor, the rainy days. So you want to, and getting back to my point in the initial point, you want to make sure that you prepare for that before you even think about starting a business. Do the numbers, do the research, find out other businesses in your industry, how they are being able to sustain a business. Because when you start to panic, then it's non-intellectual thinking, it's all emotional thinking. And when you put emotion over intellect, you're just operating out of a feeling. And it will cause you to make a lot of rushed decisions that later turns into a choice, and it's the wrong move because you didn't think about it first. Now, planning also means, and I mentioned this, I touched on it just a little bit, don't upgrade in the first 18 to 24 months, especially when you're first starting a business. Do not, when the money's coming in, oh my God, we get what I call money drunk. We get money intoxicated. We start buying stuff that we don't need just because we have the money. We start going places. Oh man, we elevate off the rip from Western Sizzler to Ruth Chris overnight. And Ruth Chris not even expensive. Oh man, all of a sudden now, Cheesecake Factory is our number one go-to restaurant when we've been eating at the buffet for years. Now all of a sudden we want to eat shrimps and lobsters and lobster towers and we want to go to the hibachi grill. Now there's nothing wrong, ladies and gentlemen, with experiencing those particular eateries. I tell anybody, I've even told a lot of my clients, go for the experience of a real 5-star restaurant. Now, you don't have to go in there and drop $200-300 on one plate. I have never told nobody to do that. Because I told you guys, well, I don't know if I told you guys on this, man, it was a couple of years ago. There's a restaurant called Charlie's in Tampa, Florida. and when I was invited, my mind translated to, oh, Charlie's. That's what I heard with these 2 ears. And again, I'm taking you somewhere. Luckily, I was prepared for it, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to. But, you know, when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. So when people of a higher stature invite you out to eat or dinner or whatever the case may be, you know, this is what I mean by preparing for the X factor, because those invitations can come at any time, especially when you are lined up and in line with doing everything right way. So you want to make sure you're prepared for those. But I heard, oh, Charlie's. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm fine with that. You know, $25, $30 steak. Hey, I can swing that. I mean, but man, when I got there to Charlie's had valet parking, and I thought somebody was trying to carjack me. I mean, I'm just being transparent with you. I'm telling y'all the real. And I was like, can I help you? I mean, I was finna let him have it too. I was finna let him have that thing. Because, dude, you just don't come up here swinging up my door. But the sign says stop here. You know, and I wasn't paying attention to the surrounding. It was nighttime. I wasn't paying attention to the surrounding and saw the little desk over there, you know. But the dude just popped up out of nowhere and just opened the door. And I was like, hey, what you want? But anyway, moving along. So I go in, nice restaurant. Very nice. If you're ever in Tampa, Florida, you have to go to Charlie's right off of 275. Wow. I mean, this was the first time. Now, here's the experience. A meat presentation. They literally carted out all the different cuts of meat. So it wasn't a menu, so to speak. You chose they brought your meat cut out to you on this ice cart. I mean, and then they run through the spiel about the GM is the only one that can do the cuts every morning and all the meat is fresh and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh, wow. I ain't never seen this at old Charlie's. It was like, no, fool. this is Charlie's. I was like, oh, okay. You know, but I'm still thinking on that same line financially, old Charlie's. So the meat presentation comes out. They come out. So I mean, it's a little more upscale than an old Charlie's because it had that macaroni grill vibe to it too. You know, where everybody's in the black and white tuxedo shirts with the bow ties, and then they got the little napkin draped over their arm, like concierge type stuff. You know, and I'm just like, oh man, this is really nice. The experience was beautiful. Never had a meat presentation. And I'm taking you somewhere. So there's nothing wrong with experiencing these type of things. But woo. This is why when I tell my clients, look, go and experience these 5-star restaurants, real 5-star restaurants. You don't have to go in there and drop $300, $200 on a plate. By the way, Wagyu steak is everything that they say it is. Perfection on the cook. Wow. I mean, that steak was so tender, you can literally cut it with a fork. It was everything that they say Wagyu steak is. But if I hadn't been prepared for that, because that was an X factor, it wasn't on my plan to ever go to something like that, but I was prepared for it if it happened. But man, I'm just going to be honest with your family. My first thoughts was be like, these folks might have to come find me. But again, when you want to experience those type of things, don't just upgrade and start making 5-star restaurants your go-to thing to do now because you're making a little money. Don't do that. Go though. Get you a salad. Pay for one of them $27 salads. in the real bread bowl, not a porcelain bowl, it's a bread bowl. Your bowl is made of bread and your salad is inside of it. Go experience that. Go experience that. You know, the atmosphere, the ambiance. Soak it all in. Learn. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says we must learn from other people. And if you want to be wealthy and you want to be rich, you got to learn how to do that. I just saw another content that says that the average millionaire drives 2 vehicles, Toyotas and Hondas. See, the goal is not to look rich. The goal is to be rich. And the way that you become rich and maintain your riches is you have to prepare for the slumps in your business. So don't upgrade for at least 18 to 24 months. Put all of your money up and back into the business, because there will come a time when the business slows. And if the business is slow and you don't have the money coming in and you're banking all of your inventory on money coming in, if you spent all of your money up front in the good months, then you don't have any money to fall back on in the slow months. Because when it's the exact reverse in some circles. People buy when things are cheap or when the money is good. So when the community of the money is getting a lot of money, as in income tax time, people still making the same amount of money that they made last year. But now they have an inflow of money because of tax returns. So they're spending right now. Same money, but they're spending because they have that income tax drop. So if you aren't prepared for that, when April comes and all of the income tax checks are put out there, you still need inventory. So take that money from these 4 months, put that back into your inventory. So now you have product for your customers to look at when the money goes back to being slow again. Then you got another drop that's right off, or you're going to have another holiday coming up right after that, which is May, Mother's Day, June, Father's Day, July, 4th of July. So you have to prepare for these times and don't panic. Another piece of content that I put up with Reverend Ike. Some of you might not even be old enough to remember Reverend Ike. But Reverend Ike says that when times are hard, that's the time that you put on your best dress. Because what it does, it changes the mentality of the person instead of focusing on the problem. Because when you focus on just that particular issue, you are not coming up with an answer or a solution. So you have to refocus your mind and don't look broke. You don't even have to have 2 nickels in your pocket. But the rest of the world don't have to know that. So you put on your best dress, put on your best face, present yourself, and you go, boom, right on out there and keep doing what you're supposed to do. All of this sets us up for success. We have to operate and change the way that we think, because when you're planning for these times, now you're prepared for the troubled waters. And when you're prepared for the troubled waters, then you'll flow right through it as easy as it is when it's calm waters. Don't panic. Prepare properly and save. You will then get through any problem that you're going through when you plan. Now, there are some occasions that I have run into to where I just couldn't come up with a plan. So what do you do, Brother Robert, when it's just not coming to you? Stay busy. That's the other thing. Proper planning is the first one. Saving is the second one. And staying busy is the third. You want to stay busy doing something that's moving you forward. When all else fails, keep doing the work. Your success is going to come from doing the work. Once you start doing the work, then the answers will start coming to you. The universe will open up to you. And you'll just start getting answers and ideas. And, oh man, I need to do this. Okay, now I get it. This is what I need to do. But if you just stop and start focusing on the problem, no answers will come to you. No answers will come to you when you just stop and focus on the problem. Sometimes we can't even see the whole entire forest because we are focused on this one tree right here. If all you're looking at is this one tree, you can't see anything else in your peripheral because you're zeroed in on the problem. You'll never get an answer. But if you step back, now you got vision. And when you see the whole entire situation, now you will start to come up with answers. I'm telling you, family, from personal experience, just stay busy. Stay busy, don't panic. You know, and people are mad. I mean, to some people, it's going to come off like you don't even care. To some people, they're going to be amazed and wonder, why are you so calm? I'm focusing on the work. Because the answers is in doing the work. I can't get off mission, even though now the plan, when you're coming up with the plan, the universe will open. When the universe opens up to you, it's going to just start raining. I mean, it's going to be raining ideas, raining thoughts, raining. It's going to start making you think because now you're getting all of this information in. Now you got to be able to process it. So calm yourself. Stay busy, and the answer will come to you just as plain as day. Trust me. Well, trust the process. Trust the process, and it will all work out. Before you know it, you're back in the saddle and doing everything all over again. Now you're going to start seeing a rush of customers come in. Now, the fourth thing that I would tell you to do, whether you have a product service business or a service business, a product business or a service business, open yourself up to moving your product or your service in other ways. You guys will be surprised. 2024, I have a lot of clients that's still trying to operate and conduct business under the old paradigm. A lot of them don't even know you can sell products on social media. Not just social media, you can sell products on YouTube, Etsy. And I'm not talking about eBay and Craigslist. You can move and sell products on Pinterest, Etsy. There's another one, Swarm, Flickr, Tumblr. You can move products on Poshmark. Do you know how many people don't know that you can hit your closet. Instead of trying to have a yard sale to your local community, because this is how we think. We want that quick cash hand, money in hand right then and there. Ooh, it just makes us feel some kind of way when we have that cash in our hand. But Poshmark, these people are paying with their credit cards or their debit cards, so you're still getting the cash. Well, it'll convert to cash, but you're still getting paid. So if you got clothes that's in your closet, if you have clothes in your closet that you can't fit anymore, sell it on Poshmark. Make a lot of money. And you can make a lot more money than you would if you out there trying to shuck and jive and tongue wrestling with people trying to talk you out of, man, will you take 50 cents for it? No, you got $3 on there. If you don't have $3, sir, don't insult me by asking me to take 50 cents. You can sell stuff on Marketplace. It's just don't panic. But the number of people that come to me or they have questions, they don't even know because I don't like Facebook. I don't like it either. Over 80% of the stuff that's on social media is hot garbage. Really, it is. But it's 20% of people out there that's making money. That's why we see some people that use social media content for the powers of good, they're millionaires. Or they're on their way to being successful because they're using social media the right way. The other 80%, no, it's all if you don't want to join the circus, don't become a clown. And there are a lot of clowns that have joined the circus. I mean, come on, you know how many once upon a time respectable women panicked during COVID and started OnlyFans pages? What? Now that's beyond panicking right there. You just lost your ever-loving mind. You just lost your mind. But when panic, just from that pandemic, how many people look, and you have a lot of these women, they're married and their husband co-signed them getting an OnlyFans page. See what happens when you result and fall back into your emotions? You make choices like that you never would have made a day in your life. Now your next door neighbor is doing porn. Come on now. Not right now. Nope, my children won't go over there no more. But see, this is what happens in a lot of cases. A lot of businesses, and in that percentage, according to the SBA, 78% of the businesses close because they panic. They panic. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for rocking with me these few minutes, but I just wanted to drop that in your spirit and let you think about that, because right now the money is good. A lot of you aren't watching. You will catch the post play because y'all popping and making that money. So when you catch this on the replay, stop spending and start putting that money back into the business for the rainy day, because it's coming. And especially with all of the financial predictions that we're looking at now in the money sector of the world, this American dollar is going to go through a hard time very soon. Y'all let that sizzle in your spirit. Hey, I thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't joined or followed the page or the channel, please do so by click subscribe and hit that bell every time that these I do these little drops. You guys will get notifications. Stay tuned, because coming up this month, February, I think today is the 1st. I'm not sure, y'all. I've been losing days, man. I'm talking about I have been losing days. Yes, today is February 1st. So coming up this month, I am my guest on Plugged In. I got a good one for you. The paparazzi queen herself. I mean, I don't even know what level she's on right now. She's on so many levels, man, and she has a large group. But she's going to be coming onto the show, Miss D. Carol Vance, and she's going to be dropping you guys some serious insight and science, and telling her story of how she went from a military's wife to a millionaire status, selling that jewelry. You guys stay tuned. Hey, I'll see you guys on the other side. Peace.